Hello, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency News Channel. Today we're going to discuss Plair, PLA, and we're actually going to discuss can this coin reach 100x or more? We're going to look at its white paper, a little bit at least, because it's a 50-page white paper. Can't read the whole thing, obviously, while I'm on this video, but we're going to look at it and see what it's actually doing, and can it reach, and can it give you really great returns? The answer to that is, of course, yes, but let's go over what Plair is. Plair is a gaming token, and the mission statement basically is they want to bring everything together on one inclusive platform that's streaming, merchandise, gaming, and all the aspects of the gaming community. Their vision is that video games and athletic sports may seem like social opposites. I mean, socially, it's different people who play them, but technically they're kind of the same thing. They're both popular, played by regular people, and they're both kind of like the revenue model is more like viewership based. But and they also, all these people that do these two, they share enthusiasm, passion, and dedication from those who consider themselves active participants in either lifestyle. However, while athletes have many opportunities to establish careers through their talents, engage with like-minded fans, and experience far-reaching sense of community, the video gaming industry is really lacking in all that, and that's what Plair is actually tackling. If you really think about it, especially in esports, let's just take esports. I mean, I watch League. I used to play League more. I don't really play League that much anymore, but I watch League professional tournaments, and there are millions and millions of fans. Now, I'm not saying it's like on the same level as basketball or football, but I think in the future, as more and more people like my generation or younger than me grow up, like esports can actually grow to be just as big as some, like it can grow to be just as big as a lot of professional sports. I mean, esports athletes, some of the top paid ones are making like $1 million a year in the United States. And that's well justified because if the teams didn't pay them that much, they could just stream by themselves and make that much. So the esports salaries have had to match up with what the players could actually make if they actually weren't playing professionally. So Plair vision is to promote and facilitate gamer and therefore player lifestyle and community through on and offline products and events. With Plair, games will reap the benefits that sports fans and athletes already experience, accessible venues for playing, speculating, and discussing the games they love. So it's going to be like a forum, speculating for streaming, and they're going to host tournaments to let amateur players show themselves off and maybe make a living through Plair. And this will all help. This will all go into the PLA token, which is going to be a cryptocurrency that's going to be used as a currency of exchange. So right now, if you look at PLA Plair, it's less than 1 Satoshi. It's basically 0.000066 cents and a market cap of only $1.3 million. However, they are building this ecosystem. Plair also doesn't have much volume. Its main volume is on OceanX, and it's a very, very small market right now. But there are a lot of people that are wanting me to do a video about Plair. It is actually on the VeChain blockchain, and it has a lot of opportunities for themselves and VeChain. But they definitely need more. They definitely need more volume, and they need another exchange besides OceanX. OceanX is not USA certified yet, and it's going to be hard for people to actually cash out of Plair, because you can get gaming tokens and earnings or whatever, but you actually need to like sometimes sell to buy like life items at least for the next couple of years. I don't think you're going to be able to pay for like food or stuff in Plair for people that make a living off Plair, but it does actually provide a great opportunity for amateurs to make kind of to establish their role and maybe make a living off PLA Plair platform where they couldn't before. Right now you got YouTube and Twitch, and that dominates the entire market. But tournaments, viewing, and then amateur play and everything, and community, they're all kind of fragmented. And Plair wants to bring those together in one inclusive platform. I definitely support this because if I didn't have to go different places for those things, I might take more, I might actually take more time to actually focus in on the community. Right now, I basically just watch the streams on YouTube and then comment on YouTube sometimes. But I would actually like take more in the community and stuff like that. Maybe even buy some gear, although I'm not really that much into gear. I don't have much sports gear either. I might even buy some gear or something if Plair actually makes this all happen. It's kind of like, the NBA. Like the NBA has this whole brand. Maybe Plair can make a brand that encompasses esports. And that would be really, really awesome. And that would skyrocket the coin, obviously. I actually have quite a few Plair coins. There's 100 billion supply, and that's a very large supply. But if you really think about it, that's the same as that's the same supply as like Ripple or fairly similar to Ripple and VeChain. And if you look at the price of Plair, it's a very small fraction of what Ripple or VeChain are. Now, the entire market's not quite as big as Ripple, but the gaming entertainment market with like the merchandising that's available, the esports tournaments that are coming up and everything, and also like all the new games and amateur streaming, that's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and there's massive room for growth for Plair and the PLA token. Now, looking back at the white paper, you can see they give you some numbers, but they also give you some games that are really popular. Obviously, League of Legends, number one, 100 million active monthly users, and this is conservative potential in volume in US dollars. And that's 50 million. I think it's like 5% at USA 10. Not exactly sure what that means. So essentially, I think this means 5% of players that it assumes that 5% of players are willing to spend $10. And this is per month. So $50 million on League of Legends. I think this is definitely under calculating it. $50 million in League of Legends, 35 million in Battlegrounds, 6.5 million in Dota 2, and 5.65 million in CSGO. And for those of you that don't know, Plair recently, in the last few days, are hosting a CSGO tournament. And the total active monthly users, 194.5 million. It's not quite that because a lot of these have a lot of crossover. And the potential volume for money is 97.25 million. But that's actually not the whole thing. That doesn't include streaming, which I think is actually one of the biggest markets that Plair can actually get into. The gaming content industry has generated $3.8 billion USD, and that's in 2015. And that's gone up exponentially since 2015 as more and more people come on board. While the audience was approximately made of 235 million people from curious and occasional to enthusiast watchers. YouTube and Twitch broadly monopolized the industry, with the former getting 43% of the lion's share and later falling just behind at 36%. Now, it says 3.8 billion in 2015. I'm guessing that's doubled now by 2019 because I've just seen the amount of growth in the league, in kind of like the League of Legends fan base. Now you have Overwatch, you have CSGO, you have like what was that? You have the other one, Overwatch. CSGO has been around for a long time. Overwatch came up after that. And then you have like Team Fortress and a lot of the other ones that actually have come up. So it's probably much greater than $3.8 billion USD now. So Plair wants to capture some of the market. And based on just these streaming some of these numbers, in terms of this game streaming industry, by empowering gamers from the very way they broadcast the content they create on the way up, they get paid in exchange, Plair would be perceived as a real contender from an innovation and economic perspective. By simply reaching a market share of 0.5%, Plair would ensure a volume of $190 million. That's per year, though, based on 2015 streaming revenues. You can pretty much double that for right now. That would be $380 million USD. And based on that, if you look at the market cap for Plair right now, it's essentially $1.3 million. Now, I know that's per year, and that much volume per year would not actually be all that much. And even at $380 million USD, which is only 0.5% of all the revenues right now, you would get $1 million volume per day. If you look at Plair right now, the volume is only 1,679. So even at $1 million per day, that would actually have the market cap be at least 10, 20 times what it is now. And I believe they can capture much more than 0.5% of the market. If they can only, remember, YouTube and Twitch have over 30% of the market each. If they can even get 5% of the market, they can have billions of dollars on streaming revenue alone, plus all the tournament stuff they have going on. So I think Plair, if they utilize their position right, it can easily be a 100x coin, because a major cryptocurrency used for gaming, game streaming, rewards, and purchase of in-game items, that could easily be worth $100 million or more. I mean, League of Legends might even be worth that more than that by itself. So despite it having a really large supply, I do think each coin can at least get to maybe like a penny. You know, at 100 billion coins, if each coin was worth a penny, the total supply would only be worth $1 billion in market cap. And for a major gaming token that's used for streaming, tournaments, prizes, and everything else, I could easily see at least 1 penny per token, even on $100 billion supply. So they're targeting a very big market that's extremely high growth right now, and that has oh, Fortnite was the other game I forgot. I don't know how I forgot Fortnite, but they're targeting all these games. They're hosting CS:GO right now. If they expand into other games and they actually make this platform where everything can be integrated into one and people start streaming on their platform, that could be monumentally large. And I think you can actually reach, even with 100 billion supply, it can actually reach more than 1 penny per token. If it reaches 10 cents per token, you're making like over 1,000, like several thousand times your investment right now. But even if it reaches 1 penny per token, you're getting, a couple of hundred times what you're putting in. So Plair, it's a very speculative investment because there are other gaming coins out there, and it's very underdeveloped with a volume of only 1.679 dollars per day. And I actually have some Plair token on my phone. It's not worth very much. Someone gave me like $10 worth of Plair earlier on, and that actually equates to, I think, 100,000 tokens. So I'm actually buying a bunch of Plair right now. I actually am not buying Plair myself, but I actually have in my Tor wallet $10 worth of Plair because of donations. Thank you, whoever donated that to me. And if it makes me rich, thank you again. But if you really think about it, if my 100,000 tokens are worth 1 penny each, that's still $1,000 on a $10 donation. So I think that's totally possible. I mean, yes, it is speculative. I don't know which one of these gaming tokens is working out, but the white paper actually looks really solid, projects some pretty good numbers, and it doesn't say they're going to take over 100% of the market. They're only looking at 0.5% of the market. I'm maybe looking at like 5% of the market, and that could already be billions of dollars worth of streaming, especially in the future as the streaming environment grows more and more. And they're projecting, they're actually really projecting reasonable numbers they're projecting reasonable numbers for tournaments and streaming, and they're also projecting reasonable numbers for the growth in terms of like market potential for people. So right now, like talking 2017 wise, there's over 200 million amateur esports players across the globe, and the number of esports fans is expected to reach 590 million by 2020. And I think that's a conservative estimate, because I think there's just as many right now. I mean, it's 2019 already, and over 1 billion fans by 2025. I think that is a reasonable amount of growth. As more people come onto the gaming scene, I think they're just going to latch on. You can see the giant audiences for League of Legends, Fortnite, Team Fortress, and Overwatch, and I think these are reasonable projections that can easily be obtained. And I think this market's going to be explosive, and I think it will be as popular as many sports in the future. Now, I don't think it'll be as popular as, say, like football or soccer, or maybe not like American football in America, but I think it can easily overtake some of the sports like the NHL in America, or even maybe even baseball worldwide. Although baseball is pretty popular, but the newer generation that's coming up, like that's my age or actually younger, they're actually going to be just as much into esports as real sports. I can see it from like my friends. They're sports fans, but many of them are also League of Legends fans, or Fortnite fans or something. And I can definitely see the new generation wave come up, and within the next 5 years or so, I can see this great growth in this market, and I can see Plair playing a part of it. And it only needs to take over a small part of the market for you to maybe get 50, 100x your money back. So based on that, I think Plair is a pretty good speculative investment. I would not actually invest more than $200-300 in it if I were you. Honestly, I would pare down my investments, and it would be only a very small part of my portfolio. But think about it, $100 can get you like 1 million tokens right now. If those tokens end up being a penny each, then you got $10,000 on a $100 investment or more. So that's what I'm saying right now for Plair. I got a small bag of Plair on my phone, but it actually might be worth something in the future. I'll probably sell it way before it gets to a penny. As soon as I see it start being worth something, I might sell it for other coins. Maybe that's just like my bad, but if I see like I get 50, 60x on a coin, I basically sell it and trade it for something else. But this has a lot of potential, and I believe it has a lot of goodness for you to invest in. It is one of the more promising esports or gaming coins out there. And yeah, it's good for VeChain too, because if it gets really popular, then that'll mean more VeChain transactions. So that's my rundown on Plair. Let me know what you think. Thank you, and have a nice day.